A North London-based rapper by the name of Broad Day Assassin has allegedly been kidnapped as part of a $25 million ransom scheme, and this coming hot off the heels of an apparent $330 million crypto virtual smash and grab. This is crazy, but you know what's even more crazy? Would you believe me if I told you that I linked up with Broad Day just a few months ago? It's insanity, people, okay? It's insanity. Now, I don't even know where to begin with this story. If you know the channel well, you'll know that I covered Camden drill music in this video that I did, London's Killer Rappers, Suspect, Active Gang, and the War in Camden. Now, this actually included, several interesting moments where we kind of talked about the Active Gang, a Camden-based group of gangsters that essentially were responsible for a heck of a lot of violence, and it really was pretty terrifying, the wave of crime and stabbings and just all sorts that they unleashed onto the streets of Camden in London. So with a suspect being the main I could use the word culprit, maybe that's not the right kind of vibe for this video. But this is a group of guys who are not to be trifled with, okay? This is a group of guys who are not to be messed with. There is a whole bunch of tough members coming out of different estates in Camden that make up Active Gang. A bunch of gangs that have evolved over the years. It's scary stuff, okay? But apparently, it's not just stabbings and shootings and bootings that, these members of Active Gang have been involved in, okay? Broad day there. Apparently, right, and bear in mind, this is a predominantly Somalian group of, very nice young men. Allegedly, they be crypto scamming on a whole nother level, okay? So look, let me just show you. This, a bunch of headlines were going around. I'm just scrolling through everything right now. That's crazy. Okay, a bunch of headlines were going around. Basically saying that BA, Broad Day Assassin from the Harrow Road Boys, AGB, they're kind of linked up. Like he reps some of the guys in the Harrow Road Boys so hard that they'd be lumping him in with them. But they're saying he was allegedly involved in a $330 million crypto heist. Now, what I thought was weird and what I thought was definitely a bad look was when this first started going around, I remember seeing this Camden Marley's fraud squad, make off with $330 million in crypto. Now, look, Broad Day is definitely a Camden Marley, but whether or not he is the actual face, the representative of the Camden Marley fraud squad, I feel like maybe they're baiting him out a little bit there. I feel like maybe they're playing, for once, I would say, a slightly dangerous game, putting him in the mix with this whole $330 million crypto heist, because allegedly, this was an enormous. It's like a heist, but it's like a scam. It's like a finesse. It's a finagle. It's a fugazi, a woozy, a wazi. They're saying it was confirmed that this was done through a social engineering theft from an elderly individual in the US. Apparently, $7 million had been frozen with the help of CF investigators, the Binance security team. This guy, Zach XBT, is on the case. And apparently there's two suspects in the heist by the name of Nina or Mo, a Somalian who operates a call scam center in Camden, UK, and an accomplice known only as Work, who assisted with the site/call. They have since deleted all of their social media accounts. Now, what do you do? Now, look, okay. So here's what I'm hearing, all right? I'm hearing that either Broad Day's got a friend or a relative that's kind of involved in this situation, but he's not. You know what I'm saying? As far as I'm seeing, he's not the guy really involved in it. It just so happens that they've made him the face of it, right? So people are thinking my guy's walking around here. People are thinking my guy's walking around with 330 million just off the strength of this post, and they're throwing a clip from his music video in there. Now, that's not a great look, right? Because allegedly, he goes to buy. This is what's crazy. This is one of the craziest stories I've ever heard. He allegedly goes to buy a watch from D Block Europe rapper LB and one of the DBE kind of affiliates, Gutter. And they said, you know what, Broad Day, you coming to buy a watch? Apparently, some sort of Patek Philippe purchase was in the works. And they said, you know what, we're gonna grab you, Broad Day, and we're gonna have some of those millions. Now, people are commenting a madness in here. Okay, people are saying Broad Day might be missing some fingers next time you see him. Man, it's messed up. They're saying nine-figure BA, so in reference to the crypto scam. Man, people saying, why would you go and buy a watch from a gang member from your city after hitting a lick for millions? Dumb dude was asking to be kidnapped. Could have just paid more and bought from a legitimate source, especially in LA. Man. This was crazy. People saying, I can't lie, either way they are pissed. The amount of money stolen, they will have silly money on their heads. Gutter's mum's yard has already got paid a visit allegedly. People saying apparently they ran up in Gutter's mother's yard and they were going to do some kind of hostage kidnapping swap. The mother for broad day is actually insanity. People saying, no way, Broadday was running the actual crypto scam thing. It makes sense why he went ghost on socials. People saying most fraud boys in the UK do big crypto scams now, especially international. People think they're only still making their money off of Cali packs. Hey, Trizzy, for example, you know what I'm saying? Listen, you can do your research into what that's all about. But people, this whole situation's crazy, right? I've got to give a shout out to my guy Honcho, who's been breaking down the story very well. Maybe let's just check in and give get a little bit of his reaction before we get to the real crazy thing I'm about to reveal to you guys.
In Camden have allegedly pulled off one of the biggest crypto hacks ever. $330 million, and this has allegedly resulted in the drill rapper Broad Day Assassin being kidnapped and held for ransom by DBE's LB and DBE affiliate Gutter. Wild. So look,
now look, if you don't follow the UK music scene, DBE is like a very prestigious and successful group of rappers. So weirdly, they get their name D Block Europe from the American New York group D Block, you know what I'm saying? But they started the Europe version and then it just became its own thing in its own right. You know what I mean? Jadakiss basically, let me pull this up, hang on. Jadakiss basically came to London and wanted to launch a European staple of D Block Records, whoopsie daisy, and created D Block Europe, getting Young Ads and another rapper, and eventually LB joined the group, and then there's other people that have kind of been, you know what I'm saying? Again, it's complicated, but you got to do your research. It's not a gang. DBE is not a gang. It's like a rap group, and it's got this weird origin with like Jadakiss and D Block Records. Kind of never really made sense, but like this is just the legacy of how this came to be. These guys are big. They sell out stadiums. They do enormous tours. You know, they just kill it in the charts. They're massive. All right. There's this, you know, charting all over the albums charts. Let me get the discography up. Discography's crazy. All right. Look, and bear in mind, okay, look, this is the UK market. Yeah, these aren't American numbers, but like, you know, these are charting number 2 in the UK, number 1 album in the UK. You know what I mean? It's they're killing it over there. You know what I'm saying? Killing it. What's their most popular song? They got anything? They got anything on Billboard? We're not seeing Billboard, unfortunately. Ain't really unlocked the Billboard too much. Ooh, is this? Ooh, no Billboard, no US charting. But look, number 2, Prada. You know what I'm saying? Got a little number 2 in the UK. Come on, man. Little number 2. That's big for the UK, all right? That's big for the UK. All you Americans, you know what I'm saying, you numbers fiends, it hits different. But this is a crazy story. This is one of the most ridiculous things that I've ever heard. And like, I just couldn't believe it when I heard it, honestly. Like, when I heard the story and I started seeing what had been going on and like what people had been saying, seeing the reporting that Honcho had been doing on his TikTok, I just couldn't believe it. I literally could not believe it, right? And so there's basically just a bunch of details about this thing, and it's just outrageous. You know, they're saying that people took $300 million in crypto and moved it and turned it into... let's just check out the video.
The stolen crypto was quickly laundered through over 6 instant exchanges and swapped into privacy-focused cryptocurrency XMR or Monero, which has caused the price of XMR to spike by 50%. According to Skyboy on YouTube, we're going to get into his video shortly, shout out to Skyboy, the hackers were CMF, which stands for Camden Marley Fraudsters. And Broad Day Assassin, the drill rapper from Active Gang or AGB, he's closely affiliated with Fredo's HRB gang as well. He's allegedly related to one of the hackers, and he's acquired some of these millions. Now, Broad Day, this is again from Skyboy's reliable source, right? Broad Day has purchased a Patek Philippe, an expensive watch from DBE's LB, right? And he was en route to give him the rest of the money for it somewhere in America. And they're saying that Broadday allegedly got kidnapped by Gutter from DBE and is being held ransom for $25 million, bro. So they're saying that these men must have caught whiff of Broadday getting these millions, and it's...
Look, this is just insane. This is an insane story. I've never heard anything so insane. But to make matters worse, to make matters more insane, okay, I need to give you a little story time. I need to tell you a little bit of a story, and I'm gonna be very respectful when I tell this story. But I've had dealings with Broadday. I'll just keep it real with you. I've had dealings with Broadday. When I dropped my video, about London's deadly gang war, the war in Camden, he caught wind of that. He didn't really want to be discussed in the video. Naturally, some people don't like, having all their business out there. But then also, when you're a buzzing drill artist with songs that have millions of views, some of the most poppin', active social media posts, Reddit posts, all about you, all about your life story, videos all about your street CV, all of this kind of stuff floating around out there. It's hard not to talk about the area of Camden without mentioning you. You were a legendary figure in Camden. But me and Broadday had words, man. There were some things he didn't want me to touch on too much. We kind of came to an agreement of like, you know what, there's probably some things that don't even really contribute to this video, to this documentary, to this piece of musical drill music history. So maybe we're going to jump over a few little, maybe not going to mention, maybe going to trim a few, just, you know what I'm saying? We tidy a few things up for the sake of safety. Since your name is Broadday Assassin, I'll never forget, I had a phone call with Broadday. And I kind of thought, I was kind of fanned out, thought it was on some positive shit. Turns out it was some negative, very negative phone conversation that we had. And the funny thing about that is that I came downstairs, man. My homie was downstairs. And I was like, man, I just had a bit of a tense call with a rapper, Just had a bit of a tense call about, a little situation. He says, oh, who's the rapper? I said his name's Broadday Assassin. And he just laughed and said, you need to squash that beef. You can't be beefing with dudes named Broadday Assassin. And I agree. And we squashed the beef. I didn't expose him. You know what I'm saying? There's no fed cases. I feel my hair's looking crazy. I just got out of the bathtub, by the way. Bath gang. Anyway, I look. We squashed the beef. There was talk of an interview. Me and Broadday got some music releasing. Got some interesting stuff going on. I was too scared to meet him. I was in New York with Adam and them for 420 last year. I was too scared to meet Broadday. They was like, yo, come to this spot. I'm like, nah, I don't know, Broadday Assassin. I don't know if I'm going to come to that spot. I said, you know where we can link up? That'll be the safest, sweetest spot. Let's link up at the airport. I'll link you at the airport. How's that? Right? I was like, look, if I'm linking a dude named Broadday Assassin, it's going to have to be near some armed security, and you know what I'm saying, I wasn't trying to pay armed security just to meet Broadday. So anyway, we arrange a meeting at the airport. Broadday doesn't show, but his manager shows. Okay, Broadday's manager turns up, says, yo, we're locked in now. Locked in with Broadday Assassin. I said the beef is squashed. I don't want to cause any problems. I'm just trying to document the history of the Camden music scene. It's very important. We've got a very important artist. Time goes by. I end up doing a little trip to Los Angeles. Now, this was a little period where I was meeting a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? I was networking. I was doing my thing. I was kind of like just moving and maneuvering. And then, Broadday, I can't remember exactly how this came about, but I've probably seen like an Instagram story or something like, yo, you in the city, man? Like, maybe we should have that catch up. Maybe we should catch up, man. And, honestly, I don't know what I was expecting. I don't know if I was expecting much. I don't know if I was expecting something big or something. That's a pause. But honestly, like, I was nervous, but I was like, you know what? I think I can trust this guy. I don't think Broadday Assassin is going to assassinate me. I think that he is in the industry, kind of gets it. We came to a mutual understanding. I think we're going to be good, man. I said maybe we should do a sit down. Maybe we should document this piece of of drill music history. I don't even want to say too much. But we did the interview. We sat down. We did the interview, man. And what the craziest thing is like we were going back and forth about this. I really wanted to make this like a next level interview, like a beyond just me doing a boring interview. I wanted to make it feel a little bit like a mini documentary. So we spent a bit of extra time editing it. Me and Broadday were going back and forth. I was like, bro, it's on the way. We're nearly ready with it. And then, video was finally done. Interview's finally done. I hit him. And you know, like, I just never heard from him. Man. You know, I had a missed call from him once. I tried to call back. I didn't manage to get through. I messaged a couple times. I never heard back. Now, when you're dealing with a character like Broad Day Assassin, who knows? They probably got a lot of crazy stuff going on in their life, clearly. But that interview is unseen. And, you know, this situation just popped off. Like, there hadn't been any posts. There hadn't been any music from Broad Day. Hadn't been anything out there. And you know, I'll be honest with you. I'm a fan of Broad Day and his music. I'm thinking, bruh, he probably got something going on in his personal life. He ain't got back to me. Maybe he wasn't messing with the interview. Who knows? But in the end, you know, I've just woken up and seen this news, and I'm thinking, damn. Clearly, there's a lot going on. Clearly, there's a lot more going on than meets the eye. Now, all of these reports of this supposed kidnapping, this giant crypto scam coming out of Camden, none of this has been proven yet. I haven't seen too much like solid paper. I ain't seen no paperwork. I ain't seen no proof. I ain't seen no, you know what I'm saying, mainstream news articles like saying that a kidnapping was foiled or happened or took place or anything like that. Who knows how this thing's going to work out? Honestly, praying for Broad Day. Honestly, like I don't wish any harm to come to anybody. I really hope that this situation can get resolved. I don't know if there's going to be a ransom. I don't know what the hell's going to happen. It's not a joke. It's not funny. I really hope that this gets resolved in like a positive way, because it is kind of scary, and I'm not really like any joke. It's one of the craziest stories that I've ever heard in the hip hop scene, but it's not a joke. So I really hope that this situation gets resolved. I'll update you guys if anything happens. And yeah, just absolutely crazy story. Look after yourselves out there. Stay out of trouble. Peace.